Good evening. Welcome to Face to Face Show. Every Wednesday at 7 p.m., we are with either any individual change maker or with change maker organization. Today, we are with Switch On Foundation, in Foundation, and none other than Mr. Vinay Jaju is with us. So, I will give you a brief about the foundation, and after that, we will show you one audio visual, and then we will have our chat show. So, established in 2008, Environment Conservation Society Switch On Foundation, dedicated to work towards equitable and sustainable development. Their journey commenced from a cycle ride undertaken by a handful of socially passionate youth in order to prepare the idea of environmental awareness across the globe and Calcutta and the marginal of the country. They have handled some of the milestone projects after their launching and during 12 years journey. First, renewable center of energy solar setup of Upper Incubation Center in Nadia. Organic foods, on skills, program Seva, ACWA, and Bengal Camp. And before we go to Mr. Vinay Jaju, let's see an audio visual. Welcome once again, Vinay Jaju. All these pictorial representations are very familiar to you. And my first question, I think your journey, this organization journey, started with one cycle jatra or padayatra. So, would you like to tell something how you started your foundation?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me here, Soumyajit. It's a real pleasure to be part of this show. So our journey was actually started with a cycle journey, but the roots of our organization were set up in 2008, where we were we were very inspired to take climate action, and the cycle ride actually was at the end of a certain project that we took up. We also set up the first Kolkata cycling club back in 2008. There's a lot of great cycle activity happening in the city, which we're very happy to and inspired to see. But at the end of a certain journey where we reached out to a lot of stakeholders, young people to policymakers, policy influencers, we took up a cycle ride called Climate Ride 2009. We did that in January of 2009, where myself and another colleague of mine, a Dutch colleague of mine, we cycled from Kolkata to Delhi. It was unassisted. We just the two of us were on the bike and we cycled and we filmed through the coal belt and uh, sort of also capturing the problems because of fossil fuels and also highlighting solutions that can be there.
Right. It was a fantastic journey. I think when it comes to your cycle journey to Delhi.
Yeah, that was a great journey.
Yeah. Please tell. What is the exact perception of this cleaner world? Towards a cleaner world, we have given the heading, the topic of this show. How do you perceive these towards a cleaner world? What is the exact perception about it?
So, I mean, there is a cleaner world would mean multiple things, right from the air that we breathe, the water we drink, the everything that we consume, the electricity that we consume, how we travel. Uh, Everything has to move to a cleaner system. The way we use the energy, the way we commute ourselves has to move to a cleaner system. Uh, Clean could be considered in two parts. One is our immediate environment that we live in. That has to become more cleaner because the air that we breathe is very dirty. The water that we drink has a lot of pollution, and it's all because of human activity. So, and that is affecting us. That is affecting our health. COVID is an exact example. Just our habits, our eating habits need to be cleaner, have to be better. Because of those habits of ours, we are facing all of these massive problems that we have around us. That is one. And on the other hand, is cleaner from a climate perspective, where we have to move to cleaner energy systems, move to cleaner transport systems, so that carbon dioxide that is emitted into the atmosphere, which is leading to climate change, that so both of these are the most pressing problems in my mind in today's time, and we have to, as individuals, as groups, as organizations, have to come and commit to a cleaner world.
Right. So obviously, individual cleaning or societal cleaning, where to begin from in order to move towards a cleaner world? How do you see this thing?
uh, I think the where to begin would be just understanding what our needs are. What are uh, We don't need so much. We don't need so many things. We don't need so much stuff. Uh, uh, we have to question our consumption habits to begin with. That's the first thing I would want to begin with. That's at least something that I began with as the first thing. Why do I don't need so much? I don't need clothes. I don't need clothes to be bought every year. I don't need to travel to exotic locations. I don't uh, need so many stuff. Right? I just need whatever is my need. Going back to what Mahatma Gandhi said, uh, we have to look at what our needs are. That is one. Second is uh, what resources are we using in the whatever needs. I'm not saying we have to start going and living in cave. That's not possible. Very clearly, we live in a society. We live in a world. There are certain comfort systems that we need. Even if I have to cycle from cycle part A to B, I need a cycle. So there are things that will need to be made, and how do we make them? That is becomes very important. And again, it's very important as a consumer. So someone who wants to, that consumer has a choice whether to choose a food which is organic or made from chemicals. A consumer has a choice to buy local or buy stuff that is being traveled, that is coming from very far. So, as individuals, each one of us have that choice. And third, and more very importantly, is choose leaders who are committed towards a cleaner world, who are committed towards fighting climate change. Vote for uh, elect people who are committed, who understand this problem and commit to it. So each one of us are very empowered to take very important decisions towards this.
Right. See, we are just passing through major environmental issues. I will request our team to show the major environmental issues: air pollution, poor waste management, water scarcity, falling groundwater level, water pollution, biodiversity loss, and land and soil degradation. These are the various environmental issues we are now passing through, not only in Kolkata, not only in India, across the world. And you are working your organization, Switch On Foundation. And what are the major areas you have taken as a task or as a pledge to take it forward?
As you've mentioned, Shomajita, these are absolutely hitting hitting the nail at the head. All the issues that you pointed out, these are like ticking time bombs. I remember hearing someone say this earlier. These are all ticking time bombs. Um, just the way, and what we need to realize, we are a, we're very interconnected. We don't understand it, but we are part of nature and we're interconnected with everything that is going around everywhere. For example, ice loss that is happening in the North Pole is affecting us sitting in Kolkata. Uh, Species getting extinct in the Amazon is affecting us sitting here. So everything that we do, we can directly relate to the cyclone, the Amphan that happened, and the the way we've used up the Sundarbans and the has definitely affected the way Amphan has come and impacted us. So everything is definitely connected. As for what we do at Switch On Foundation, we are committed to all of these issues. As an example, with air pollution, we set up Bengal Clean Air Network. We had initially started Kolkata Clean Air as a unit to take up action in the city of Kolkata. We brought in citizens, got together as a group, reached out to multiple organizations. That idea now we have taken across Bengal. Again, something that we truly believe in is in the power of coming together as a network and come and find solutions to this together. It's not something that I or Switch On Foundation or a group or a small group can solve. We have to come together. Water is again another issue. So with air pollution, we know that it is one of the largest silent killers in the world. Something that shook me in taking action on air pollution was a report from Lancet Commission, which says that air pollution kills 3 times more people than AIDS, tuberculosis, and malaria put together. And that really shook me. So that is there. With water, there are people who say that next wars in the world are going to be done because are going to be the next wars will happen because of water crisis. India is 60% of India is already water deficient, and East India, unfortunately, there are NASA satellite images that say that East India is depleting groundwater at the quickest rate across India. I remember in 2008 when we were talking about climate change and we were talking about fossil fuel. Um, Everyone was saying, "Oh, there's no problem with coal in India. We have enough coal. There is a problem with oil. We need to import oil, but coal there is no problem." And today we're importing coal. The same thought we have with water today. We say, "Oh, water is not a problem. We have the Ganga. There's good rainfall." But within a handful of years, we are going to be in a severe water crisis in even the Gangetic Belt, where we have ample rainfall. All of these issues, just the way we are cutting down forests, digging the earth, taking minerals out, and creating waste out of it, and the way we are managing that waste, these are serious, serious issues. And at Switch On, while I'm very inspired to be working on this, I'm also very concerned, but I'm also very hopeful and positive that we will find solutions to this.
Right. Initially, I think last question you were referring about cycle. So I was going through some Google search. I was doing a Google search and got some fantastic figure that UP is having, I think, Asia's largest route, and this Etwa, let me see, say all 618 cycling routes, then Tokyo 1605 cycling routes. The figure may vary because I took it from Kolkata 58 cycle routes, India 9245 cycle routes, and in India 10,35,857 kilometer total cycle routes. I do not know whether this is correct or not. I have taken from Google. But coming back to Kolkata, 58 cycle routes, and it reminds me of one incident that your organization was one of the organizations took leading part when there was some initiative to stop the cycling in Kolkata roads. I think it was in 2012 or 2013, and still that issue is going on. And during this COVID time, the cycling and cyclists are seen in the streets. So, how do you see this cycle track, I mean, total thing? What is your perception? Authorities are giving you right treatment in Kolkata vis-a-vis in Newtown. We have seen that in Newtown there are some cycle tracks, but in Kolkata there are no cycle tracks probably. So overall reaction on this thing.
Sure. So, I mean, this is a common tendency to think that some of the old technologies, old practices are not modern. Uh, and it's not just within Kolkata or India, but it's a global tendency to think like this. Netherlands, which is Netherlands and Scandinavian countries, which are cyclist capitals of the world, uh, even they were removing cycles, they were expanding roads for cars, only to realize that cars lead to more deaths. And they corrected themselves, removed car spaces, increased cycle spaces. So they made those mistakes, they learned, and they changed their practices. And now you only see cycles in these cities across. And it's sad that it's a human it's a problem with humans. We don't learn unless we make mistakes. We are going and making the same mistakes again. And but thankfully there are people who are able to recognize these things in Kolkata, in Bengal. We're having a very exciting panel discussion tomorrow, day after tomorrow, with leading experts from Bengal, from outside, who and cycle for that matter is now being revisited. People are able to. There is not just for cycle, but for all old technologies, old practices. People are able to understand that there is a certain merit in them because we used to have limited resources, and with those limited resources we had those practices of sustainable agriculture or using cycles which don't need fossil fuel. So we have to think about those practices, we have to reinvent them. I'm not saying we have to adopt them the way they are, but there are new ways of cycling, there are cycle protection, there is cycle safety, all of that can be relooked at. But it's extremely important that cities like Kolkata, which have low space, and by making an argument that Kolkata has low space, we need it for cars. That's exactly the argument which goes in favor for cycles. Low space means allowing for more public transport, allowing for more walking, allowing for more cycles. Um, Cars should be the least priority. And currently, our method of working is currently cycle is not cycle centric, is very car centric. So we have to have adequate cycle lanes available for people, and very a lot of people are encouraged to ride cycles to work, ride cycles to school. If they're giving safety, they will use cycles, drop their cars, which is going to lead to less pollution, will lead to less congestion. So it makes perfect sense to cycles and start that again.
Nice explanation, and we will go to the next question. We see so many organizations working for a greener tomorrow. However, the effect of individualistic efforts seems to be spotty. Why can't we pitch in for a common goal to a cleaner world? Why I'm telling this, why this question? Because why there are not so many Sujan foundations? Why we are not able to make so many whistleblowers in this environment field?
So, Samajita, unfortunately, this was my first question when I started to learn about environment problems and climate crisis. Why, as humans, are we so short-sighted? Uh, but that is the reality. I would only do something when I know I need to do it. I have come to the brink of it and I have to do it. If we look at COVID, right, we understood that if we don't take care of COVID, people are going to suffer, people are going to die. Uh, in that case, with environment, the effect is not as imminent, is not in your face. Uh, if we are breathing poor quality air, it is slowly killing us. If we are smoking cigarettes, we know it's slowly killing us, but people still smoke cigarettes, right? If
Yeah.
if we are polluting our air, it's slowly killing us like it is done with cigarette. But it's not so imminent, and that is what is the at the core, that's the problem. But having said that, the environment movement has grown tremendously over the last 12-15 years since I've been seeing it. It used to be considered a movement of hippies, considered a movement of niche groups or communities, but a lot of people, there are very large multinational corporations who are committing. Forget not multinational corporations, there are countries, there are over 30-40 countries that have committed to zero carbon in a few years time. So people are understanding the problem. There is very large commitments coming, large targets. India, for that matter, has recognized this problem, is one of the leading countries, I would say. And so is Bengal, so is Kolkata, has understood the problem, understands the importance of climate change. And it's not just because of it has to be done for the environment, but it makes economic sense to do it. In today's time, setting up a solar power plant is cheaper than setting up a coal power plant. And so because of effort of many people coming together. So there is, while I do agree that a lot more has to be done, a lot more organizations, individuals have to come together. But over the years, a lot is coming in. And as people start to recognize and understand the problem and the gravity of it, I'm sure a lot of people will be joining even further.
It's a very important message from you. So now let's move to another question. Death toll due to air pollution has been multiplying. Biodiversity is another casualty. And according to the scientists all over the world, there are many viral pandemics awaiting to happen. Still, Mission Cleaner World, especially in a country like India, has no presence in the mainstream political discourse. Is it because of common people are not are indifferent to it, or common people, or it is because the NGOs have not so far risen to a formidable pressure group? What is your take on it? Are we indifferent, or NGOs are not that much capable to give act as special group?
So
What
I would say yes to both. I would say yes to both, Shomojita. We are indifferent because there is poverty, there is hunger, there is malnutrition that we are still grappling with. We call ourselves, we're still a developing economy. So before we can talk about solving and taking a global leadership role in climate change, we're still trying to get millions of people out of poverty. We're still trying to get people to good schools, have good school systems, offer good, decent jobs where people can live a respectable life. We're still grappling with those issues. And those issues, they're still, uh, I mean, unfortunately, we still read about women getting disrespected. So these are still issues that are right in front of us. So that, of course, takes a lot of our attention, a lot of our mind space. And second, I also, but uh, equally emergent and equally we need to understand that there is an emergency, there is an urgency that is coming. And while we're solving all of these problems, we must also address the environment challenge, the environment issue. At the end, it comes down to respect. It comes down to respecting one another. It comes down to respecting the nature, respecting environment. So they should not be looked at in silos and in different ways. They have to be looked in totality. And this is where I feel organizations and people like myself have failed in being able to express the need for these urgent and emergent issues. But yeah, I mean, it's not all so sad and bad, because I also feel there are some positives, there are some good that is happening everywhere, and that continues to inspire me for what we do. Uh,
Right. Uh, I will come to another question.
yes.
On World Environment Day, a lot of activities and fanfare are happening. That's one part. And we are talking much about environment. But are we really committed to environment? The government will, the institutional will. What is your take on it? Is there any consistency in thinking, or in the approach paper, or anything else?
So I would say there is positive action happening. Uh, Again, I agree with both. There is positive action and there is some greenwashing that is also happening. There is positive action. The government is taking positive steps. Companies are taking positive steps. Some of them are being forced to do that, because if you are cutting forests down, there are indigenous communities that are dependent on those forest land. It's their land, and that's when they're standing up and saying it's not good. It's not. You can't cut our forests. You can't take away our rivers. You can't take away our rivers to create dams for good of cities and of rich people. The inequity gap is increasing in a tremendous way. And again, like I said, it's a issue of respect. So all of these are connected in a way. So somewhere some decision is being forced upon people, some decision is being actively understood and taken. People are able to recognize and understand that our waters are drying out, our groundwater is not available, our rivers are falling short, our air is getting bad. There is an economic impact to all of this. How is There are cities that will go bankrupt. There are countries that will go bankrupt because they will not have the resources to manage and handle these things. So uh, there is positive action happening, because some of it is we are forced to, because of it, and some we are making the decision on these lines. And but also there is some, a lot of it is also greenwashing, unfortunately, where we say, oh, buy this because this is a green something something. But I mean, you're only promoting consumerism in the name of green and being environmentally friendly. So yeah, which is I mean, there's always the good and the bad of everything. So uh, yeah, I shouldn't be complaining about that, but there is positive action also
Okay. We have been discussing largely the issues, and we will again touch another issue. Since I'm a resident of Newtown, I have seen there are a number of green zones in Newtown, but I do not know whether there is the footprints are in other parts of West Bengal or in Kolkata also, or do you have any idea on this setting up green zones across our state?
So I'm not an expert at it, but I know Newtown is a planned city. There's a lot of sustainability that is being thought about when Newtown is being built. Like you yourself said, there are cycle lanes that are built. There are green zones that are coming up. Overall, there's a lot of emphasis being given to growing sustainably as a city. Uh, we unfortunately feel that other cities like Kolkata, etc., it's not possible because it's so congested. But I mean, traditionally we also have green zones in Kolkata. I live very close to Maidan, which is famously known as the lungs of the city. Uh, the Southern Avenue, there are parks. So there are these small green zones which are there, which are thriving, and there are also other green zones that, I mean, I would love to see. So in certain European cities, in city centers, cars are not allowed. You can only walk, you can only cycle, you can use maybe some electric scooters or something. They are green zones. So I don't think we need to say, oh, there is no space available, so they can't. There should be a green zone. Green zones can come up anywhere and everywhere. Cities are for people, not for cars, not for factories, not for those things. It should be people friendly.
Right. So we were touching general issues, environmental issues, other things. Now I will come to Suchan Foundation projects, their working, how they work, how they're touching the life, how they're helping the marginal farmers, how they're making the people technology enabled. So my first question, how you plan your activities for urban and rural population through your foundation?
Right. So we work both in urban and rural parts. Most of our activities are in rural parts. We work a lot with marginal farmers, marginal communities, um, uh, women farmers, women groups, women self-help groups. A lot of our work is in promoting clean energy access solutions like solar pumps, solar lights in rural communities. We work with on promoting sustainable agriculture so that farmers are able to strengthen their livelihoods, and at the same time they're able to uh, protect and conserve natural resources. So that's a lot of our work. We work a lot with youth, rural youth. That's something that we do. So with rural youth, we provide them training so that they can get jobs. They can get uh, jobs and set up their own enterprises. Whereas in the urban area, a lot of our work with urban area is more on the environment, local environment side of things, clean air, urban transport. That's do a bit of training, capacity building with youth, children. We do a lot of work with schools and colleges to make them aware about environment and environment related solutions and issues.
You were referring some of your projects, and the very latest one is Bengal Camp, if I'm right.
That's right.
Yeah. So, if you kindly explain us what exactly you want to do, why you have undertaken such project.
So Bengal Can is an abbreviation for Bengal Clean Energy, Clean Air Network, Bengal Clean Air Network, Bengal Can. And of course, the abbreviation itself is a very positive message that we must and we can and we will, I'm sure. But Bengal Can is set up as a network where youth, children, parents, organizations, doctors are coming together, raising their voices to change habits and also change policies for a cleaner air, for a cleaner environment, which is an absolute must for our cities and even for our towns, which are reeling under very bad air pollution.
Right. So it's definitely a good initiative from your part, and hope your organization will gain momentum in future to take it forward. And you were about that you are taking your projects to marginal farmers, and I think they are yielding some crops and other things. So those things are to be sold. So what is their retail market and institutional market?
So, with rural communities, one of our big programs is Program Seva, abbreviation
Yes.
for Program Seva. Seva
Yes.
is an abbreviation for strengthening the energy, water, agriculture nexus. There, a lot of our work is in promoting sustainable agriculture. So, with sustainable agriculture, we have promoted an enterprise called Organic Foods. It's run by my colleague, my wife, Ekta.
Yeah.
She acts as a platform to sell, produce sustainable, organically grown produce by farmers. They're also exporting this produce globally. And of course, encouraging local consumption of the produce. That is one. but we understand not every farmer, it's possible not for every farmer to change to organic practices. So we are also helping farmers to move to at least less intensive practices to better practices, so they can in, get better livelihood. Because money, this is something I believe Swamiji has said, "Khali pete samaj seva kora jai na." So, I mean, no farmer is going to listen to organic agriculture and environment if they're not able to fill their stomach. So I think that is very important part of our work when we go to rural India, that we make sure that they're able to eat a full meal, and that is when they can start thinking about their neighbors, about environment, about their resources. But it's very important for them to think about their natural resources, because they depend on the water, they depend on the soil for their livelihood and for their food and for their living.
Right. So, come to another question. See, you are doing your work for the last more than 10 years, you are doing. And also, you have your own system of evaluation, I think. So, how do you see the impact analysis on your work? Are you satisfied, or there is scope for improvement? And if you are not satisfied, why is the gap? How to minimize those gaps?
As a person, I'm never satisfied. I'm always uh, pushing myself, pushing the organization. We've started multiple initiatives. There are three social enterprises. There are multiple programs, initiatives that we started in these last 12 years. Um, but that gives us joy. It gives us inspiration. So when I say I'm not satisfied, it's not in a negative way. It's in a positive way, because I'm continuously inspired to be part of this. For me, this is a spiritual journey as well. This is a spiritual journey that we have, and I'm very, very lucky to have this opportunity to be able to be of service to so many people, to be of service to Mother Nature, to be of service to our city, our state, most importantly, our country, which is so dear to us. Yeah, so it's a constant learning, constant growing, constantly. So, but I'm a happy person. I'm in a very happy state of mind. But yeah, I wouldn't say I'm satisfied.
It's a really a good confession. See, you are taking everything in a positive spirit. Even your mistakes are being taken in positive spirit, and that makes your organization great. And for that, I think when you do work, in spite of committing mistakes, you have good things in your organization, and you have been recognized several times by several bodies. And I will request our team to show those awards which have been known by Switch On Foundation in the recent years. And I will try to also this Goldman Sachs Analyst Impact Award 2020, the latest one, I think. Social Impact Award 2020 ICC. Then Social Impact Award 2018 SPJ IAMA Cumans. Then Pacesetter Award MNRE and US Embassy. Best Care Award 2017 EFMD. And Seed Award 2015 UNDP and UNEP. These are the, I think, six awards are mentioned here. And I will request Vinay to throw some light why these awards have been known by their organization, what was a great work they have done. That is why they have been recognized. Because people want to know the details of the work also. Please.
So, no, so people are very kind. I would like to believe that when you have a honest intent and you're committed to something that you honestly believe in, uh, I mean, there are people are very kind. We've had a lot of people come up, support us, recognize us, congratulate us. So it's their greatness that they've been so kind to us. I truly believe in the saying, the book Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, who says that the world conspires to make you achieve what you want to, and it truly does. I've seen this in very close quarters. People come together, they support you, they help you, they appreciate you for if your heart is clean, pure, committed, if your heart is compassion and commitment for something true.
Right. So again, congratulations for winning all the awards and the latest award. I saw it in the Times of India, Kolkata. So again, congratulations to your team.
Thank you, sir.
Uh, my another question. See, you have your connectivity and you have the end beneficiaries. So there are definitely some unique methods of giving them training, either by vocational training or by using the technology. If you can enlighten something on this.
Sure. So, training capacity building is a large part of what we do. Some projects are directly and only focused on trainings and capacity building. Some of it is a part of a larger program or project. We definitely use a lot of technology, use a lot of audio visuals in doing this. We believe a lot in the power of videos. So we are now creating short videos, training content, and there's, especially with the web, there is so much that you can learn very easily. So using all of the technologies and the resources that we have available, we are making the most of whatever we can use and do based on the resources and capacities that we have internally.
Right. Oh, we will take a short break of 25 seconds and again we will come back.
Namaskar, Soumyajit welcomes you to Face Soumyajit. If you like our show, please visit Face Soumyajit, like it and share it. Also, subscribe our YouTube channel iCommunications. Press the bell icon to get instant notifications.
We are once again back on the show, and definitely you have been doing a great job, and you have your recognitions from national, international bodies. And my very specific question, I want to know in detail, if possible, how you are holding hands, or the government is extending their hands of cooperation to your organization, how and through which means.
So I like to, I mean, it's recently we've started to work, especially in my role at Switch On Foundation, because I was working in setting up the solar enterprise and a little bit of the organic enterprise supporting Ekta, but a lot of my time went into setting up solar enterprise. I've seen that governments have the right intent, the right practices, the right policies. Implementation in a country like India is full of challenges. So I'm the last person to blame anyone, especially governments there are challenges that I see, but there is a lot to be done. And I have seen there are some bureaucrats, there are some politicians who understand the urgency and work with that urgency, and there are some who don't just don't see the urgency of things and let things pass as they are to pass. So yeah, I mean, there's always the black, there's the black and white, there's the gray, there's the good and the bad in everything and everywhere. But what is good to see in India is that there are good policies because there are some very bright minds in the country. Uh, we know that the leading corporations have Indians at the helm of it. There are now people coming at governments who are Indians or from Indian origin. So Indians are very bright people, and they've understood these problems. They've created great practices, policies in the country. Implementation, of course, is a huge challenge, but I'm sure we'll get there.
Right. So, my next question, it's a little embarrassing maybe also. Would you like to tell us about one of your greatest failure while doing this organization and one's very satisfying moment? One in each case.
Okay. Sure. So yeah, that's a tough one. Failures, I've had many failures. Mm,
But
it's really
yeah, please think and
right.
yeah.
But I would say the biggest failure has been when we were very arrogant. So I would say during one point of our time at Honorgy Solar, when we set up Honorgy Solar, there was a lot of fame that we were getting, a lot of recognition for the work. We were a startup, we were young, who were passionately working towards solarizing the country, and there was a lot of recognition we were getting. And in that recognition, I think some of that recognition got to our head, and we started saying no to investors. We started saying no to certain offers. We didn't. We that arrogance sort of set in somewhere. That no, we will never go wrong, and we can never be wrong. And then, of course, we made mistakes, and we realized that there were. So I think that was, in my opinion, the biggest failure of thinking, of becoming arrogant, of recognizing that we're indispensable and we will conquer the world and we will change the world. Not conquer the world. We never wanted to conquer the world, but we wanted to change the world and we will really come on top every time. I think that was a phase which I would say that perhaps is the biggest failure. The biggest achievement is the whole journey. It's I mean it's the journey. It's been such a fulfilling journey of learning, of being humbled, of being seeing great people, of meeting absolutely fantastic farmers who don't have anything for themselves, but they will go out of their way for you. So yeah, it's been tremendous, the journey, and that I feel has been my biggest success. The journey which continues, and I hope it will continue for a good time to come.
Definitely, it's a very good answer. You have not skipped failure. You because why I asked you. You told that this mistakes gives you another opportunity to learn and gives you inspiration. So that was my inspiration to ask you that question.
Sure.
So
No, absolutely.
yeah. So
Very glad you answered the question.
yes, we are almost at the end of our show, and right now, if there is not any embargo on your part that you cannot divulge the secret things, do you have any future plans which can be told here that people can know that yes, you are going ahead with future plans, escalation model, or any new projects?
Absolutely. I mean, there's no secret. I don't believe in any secrets. The path that we've chosen is a path where we want to share, we want to collaborate. We are very excited about the two programs that we currently have. Program Seva, which works on the energy, water, agriculture nexus. I'm extremely passionate about seeing how we can promote sustainable agriculture and conserve resources while doubling farmer income. Very excited about moving to new states. We're going to open an office in Sikkim very soon. In Jharkhand, we're restarting some work. In Assam, we'll be starting some work very soon again with farmers there. I'm extremely excited about the work that we're doing with Bengal Camp. We've recently started a cohort where we'll be working with young people on solutions for climate change, air pollution. We'll be reaching out to schools there. So yeah, a lot of exciting things coming up. Um,
Right. So really encouraging for us also. And I do not know whether you have undertaken. Yes, I did remember some communications earlier that you were inviting me, Nadia, and other places. So I will request you, not only your walk, you can start environment tourism, like medical tourism or like that. Is it possible to think over this issue so that people will come to know and they may take interest after seeing the positive things of your work? They can join in the same link.
Sure. So one of the things that I'm become very passionate about recently is health also, and a lot of things that we do has direct impact on health. So one thing that I've been very intrigued by is millets. Thanks to my mother, is millets and is khojurer gur. So both are supposed to be very very healthy for us. So in my endeavors to reach out to farmers to revive some of the millets that are in India, in Khajur Gur, a lot of farmers that don't want to do it, but again inspire farmers to find ways to do it. So that has taken me to different districts like Jhargram, Purulia, Bankura, Nadia, Murshidabad, where we hope to set up centers. We call our centers Topon. So centers like Topon and invite people to come join, see the beauty of, relish the beauty of nature, like, and see the hospitality of our lovely farmers. So that's very much something I'd love to do.
So hope to have more encouraging things from your end, more innovations, and more thinking, more positive people to join in your mission. And I once again come back to our old issue of cycle, because my first meeting with you people were through Cycle Padayatra. I call cycle because there were cyclists and there were some people who were on foot. So it was cycle padayatra. I remember those rallies in front of Victoria House also in so many areas. So how do you take these cycle things in a more meaningful way so that more cycle tracks are here in Kolkata, more cyclists can start their journey? More about this cycle.
So this is something that we are very consciously trying to drive uh, on uh, on cycles. Day after tomorrow, we're doing a so it's a proper campaign that needs to come. And cycles can't be just looked in isolation. We have to look at urban mobility at whole for the city, and we want to see cycles at the center of that urban mobility. We are trying to understand how people commute, what are their needs. So we are doing research around it. We are trying to understand from experts what Kolkata's urban mobility plan map should look like. Um, so bring in stakeholders, bring in people. There are, of course, issues that the Kolkata police has in managing transport, in managing congestion. So those issues also need to be addressed. So the whole problem needs to be looked in a holistic manner, which we are doing. We've created there's a very nice network of cyclists, not just in Kolkata, but across Bengal, that has come together under the banner Bengal Loves Cycles. And we are coming together. We are taking up multiple initiatives to also make cyclists aware about safe cycling. And while we are making cyclists aware about safe cycling, we are also making the administration aware about the need and importance of cycling. So yeah, all of this is happening together right now. We want more and more people to come together, join this movement of safe cycling transport, of safe air, clean air, so that we are happy and healthy in years to come.
Thank you, Vinay. And any further message to the environment caregivers, environment lovers from you?
my only message is that let's come together, let's work together, let's take this forward.
Thank you very much, Vinay. And really, we are privileged that we got in this show. And what is your take on this kind of show? This is purely for the change makers. I do not know how long it can be continued, but I think this is the 10th show in every week on Wednesday, 7 p.m. We are doing this show. What is your take on this?
Can you tell me one more, please?
Basically, this is a change maker show, and
Right.
take on it, this particular kind of show.
No, this is absolutely this is great. I mean, I don't know how many of these are done in India. I'm very happy to see this. I congratulate you for this. This is lovely, and I'm sure a lot of people will really appreciate what you've done.
Thank you, Vinay, and thank you to your team of the foundation, and thank you to our lovely audience, and thank you to all the environment lovers and caregivers, and thank you to your marginal farmers and all the people associated with your movement, and thank you to my own technical team. And with that, good night to everybody. Once again, thank you very much to Mr. Vinay Jaju. And I'm signing off today with inviting you for the next Wednesday 7 p.m. show. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.